Yes. So let us discuss about the next question. Question number 14. Identify the correct statement with regard to the gap 1 phase of interphase. We know that in cell cycle it is consisting of two important phases. The first one it is called as interphase, that is called as resting phase, and the second where actual cell division takes place, that is called as M phase. Interphase it is again dividing into three subphases, that is called as G1 phase, S phase and G2 phase. In G1 phase, gap 1 phase, the cell is metabolically active for synthesis of protein, right? So that is the G1 phase. In S phase, the synthesis of DNA takes place. DNA replication is, S means synthesis. In that S phase, DNA replication takes place. Okay, and the next one in a G2 phase, again the cell is metabolically active. That means they are producing some of the enzymes and protein for the M phase. Okay, they produces the machinery for the M phase, right? Yes. So let us read the statements one by one. DNA synthesis or replication takes place. We know that DNA synthesis or replication takes place in the S phase, not in the G1 phase. S phase, in S phase the DNA replication or DNA synthesis takes place. This is not correct. Okay, next one, reorganization of all cell compartment takes place after karyokinesis, the division of nucleus. That means after the M phase, after the karyokinesis of M phase, all the cell compartment are reorganized. Okay, nuclear membrane is reorganized, endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi apparatus are reorganized. Okay, and it is not characteristic feature of G1 phase, right? So this is also not true. Okay, next one, cell is metabolically active. In G1 phase, the cell is metabolically active. Yes, correct. And which grows but do not replicate its DNA. Yes, cell which grow its size but which do not replicate its DNA, because the DNA replication takes place in the S phase. This is the right statement. Okay, next one, nuclear division takes place. Nuclear division takes place in the telophase. Nuclear division takes place in the telophase. That is the last stage of the M phase, not in the G1 phase. That means which option is correct, Amma? Option 3 is correct. Okay, yes. The next one, question number 15. Cuboidal epithelium with brush border of microvilli is found in. Okay, cuboidal epithelium. We know that epithelium is classified into 4 types. Okay, sorry, epithelium is classified into usually 2 types: simple epithelial tissue and compound epithelial tissue. Simple epithelial tissue is again classified into 4 types. That is called as what? The squamous epithelial tissue, cuboidal epithelial tissue and columnar epithelial tissue, ciliated epithelial tissue. Okay, so in the lining of intestine, the columnar epithelial tissue is present. Columnar epithelial tissue is present. Columnar epithelial tissue is present in the lining of intestine. Okay, next one, in the ducts of salivary gland. In the ducts of salivary gland, cuboidal epithelial cells are present, but they do not possess the brush border appearance. That means the brush border surface is not appeared in the ducts of salivary gland. Okay, next one, PCT means proximal convoluted tubule of the nephron. We know that nephron it is consisting of usually 3 parts. Okay, that is the first one, it is called as glomerulus. Okay, Bowman's capsule, as well as ducts, that is called as proximal convoluted tubule, distal convoluted tubule and Henle's loop. Okay, so this is the Bowman's capsule. Sorry. So this is the Bowman's capsule. Okay, Bowman capsule, it is connected to the first part of the duct. Okay, that is broader in nature, that is called as a proximal convoluted tubule. Okay, and this is the descending limb of Henle and this is the ascending limb of Henle, right? So descending limb of Henle and ascending limb of Henle, and it is connects to the distal cannulated tubule, and distal cannulated tubules which joins collecting duct. Okay, so they are the parts of nephron. If you look into the lining of the proximal inner lining of the proximal cannulated tubule, it is made up of cuboidal epithelial tissue. But the cuboidal epithelial tissue, it is consisting of a brush border appearance, because to increase its surface area for more absorption of water and electrolytes from the proximal cannulated tubule, right? So the inner lining of the proximal cannulated tubule, it is made up of cuboidal epithelial tissue. It is made up of cuboidal epithelial tissue, and that cuboidal epithelial tissue, they consisting of brush border in appearance, because which increases the surface area, because for the absorption of water and electrolytes from the proximal cannulated tubule, right? So that means the cuboidal epithelium with a brush border of a microvilli is found in the proximal cannulated tubule. Option 3 is correct. Okay, and it is not found in the Eustachian tube, right? So it is a characteristic feature of the inner ear, which helps in the equalizing the pressure on the either side of the eardrum, right? That is the Eustachian tube, right? Okay, yes. So the cuboidal brush border epithelium is present in the proximal cannulated tubule of the nephron. Okay, yes. So let us discuss about the next one question. Question number 16. Which of the following statements about inclusion bodies is incorrect? Inclusion bodies. What is inclusion bodies? In case consider this is the prokaryotic cell. Okay. So in prokaryotic cell, the stored food material is freely present in the prokaryotic cell. That stored food material which are freely present in the cytoplasm of the cell, that is called as what? Inclusion bodies. Sorry. So they are called as what? Inclusion bodies. Inclusion bodies. Inclusion bodies, they lies freely in the prokaryotic cell, that is bacteria, and which store the some of the food material like phosphate granules, okay, Sanophisian starch, right? So some of the food material, it is stored in the cytoplasm of the prokaryotes, that is called as what? Inclusion bodies. Okay, and gas vacuoles are also present in the, that is the purple and green photosynthetic bacteria and cyanobacteria. Okay, yes. So let us discuss about let us read the options. They are not bound by any membrane. Yes, that inclusion body, it is not covered by, or it is not bound by any type of membrane. Membrane bound organelles are present in eukaryotes, not in prokaryotes, such that inclusion body, it is also not bound by any membrane, right? So yes, this is the correct statement. These are involved in the ingestion of food particle. No, they are not involved in the ingestion of food particle. Okay, so that inclusion body which is not responsible for intake of food particle. Ingestion means intake, okay, from the surrounding media. Next one, they lie freely in the cytoplasm. Yes, inclusion bodies, they are freely present in the cytoplasm of the prokaryotic cell. Next one, these represent reserve food material in the, yes, they are the inclusion bodies, they represent the reserve food material in the prokaryotes, cytoplasm of the prokaryotes, right? So the incorrect statement, that is option 2. Okay, yes. So let us discuss about the next one question. Question number 17. Which is the important site of formation of glycoproteins and glycolipids in eukaryotic cells? In eukaryotic cells, glycoproteins and glycolipids are synthesized by, that is Golgi apparatus or Golgi bodies. Glycolipids and glycoproteins are synthesized by the glycoproteins and glycolipids are synthesized by the Golgi apparatus or Golgi bodies. Okay, and we know that endoplasmic reticulum is classified into two types, that is smooth endoplasmic reticulum and rough endoplasmic reticulum. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum which is responsible for only lipids, they are not synthesizing the glycolipids. Rough endoplasmic reticulum which is responsible for synthesis of protein, not glycoproteins, okay, but Golgi bodies which is responsible for the synthesis of glycoproteins and glycolipids. Okay, yes. So let us discuss about the next one, that is in gel electrophoresis, separated DNA fragments can be visualized with the help of by adding one of the stain, right? So we know that in gel electrophoresis the DNA fragments are made by the restriction endonucleases and it is separated by the DNA fragments are separated by the one of the technique, it is called as gel electrophoresis. Okay, agrogel is used, and that DNA fragments are visualized by adding the stain. The name of the stain, it is called as ethidium bromide. Ethidium bromide under the UV radiation, under the UV radiation, not under the infrared radiation. That means option 2 is correct. Okay, it is very simple concept in biotechnology principle and process. So yes, the next one, question number 19. Identify the wrong statement with reference to the transport of oxygen in breathing and exchange of gases. We know that, right? Yes, binding of oxygen with hemoglobin. We know that RBC. What is the shape of the RBC? Biconcave shape of the RBC. RBC containing the red colored protein pigment. Okay, iron containing pigment, red colored iron containing pigment, it is called as HB, means hemoglobin. Right, each hemoglobin carries the 4 oxygen molecules, right? Yes, binding of oxygen to the hemoglobin is mainly related to the partial pressure of oxygen. Partial pressure of oxygen is represented by PO2. What is partial pressure? Okay, the pressure which is exerted by individual gas in the mixture of gases, that is called as partial pressure. If the partial pressure of oxygen is increases, okay, that means which increases the oxyhemoglobin, because oxygen it is binds to the hemoglobin. If the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is increases, the oxyhemoglobin rate is decreases, because more, that means a carbon dioxide concentration, the carbon dioxide concentration is much more than the oxygen, right? So more number of oxygen, they are not able to bind to the hemoglobin. Okay, yes. So binding of oxygen with the hemoglobin is mainly related to the partial pressure of oxygen. Correct. Next one. Partial pressure of carbon dioxide can interfere with the oxygen binding with the hemoglobin. Just we are going to discuss here, right? So partial pressure of carbon dioxide, if the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is decreases, then which increases the partial pressure of oxygen, and which increases the oxyhemoglobin molecules. Okay, that means more amount of oxygen which is going to bind with the hemoglobin molecules. Okay, that means carbon dioxide, they are also interfere with the binding of oxygen binding with the hemoglobin. This is also correct. Next one, higher hydrogen concentration in alveoli. Okay, that is the structural and functional unit of the lungs. That is called as what? Alveoli. This is the alveoli. Consider this is the alveoli, right? So alveoli favors the concentration of oxygen hemoglobin. High concentration. If the alveoli having the high concentration of hydrogen, okay, that not favors the formation of oxyhemoglobin, which decreases the formation of oxyhemoglobin. Okay, so if the alveoli having low hydrogen concentration, then it favors the formation of oxyhemoglobin. They are given that incorrect. Okay, it is an incorrect statement. So higher not, it is a lower hydrogen concentration in the alveoli which favors the formation of oxyhemoglobin, right? But they are given that higher concentration. Okay, so this is the incorrect statement. And low partial pressure of carbon dioxide in alveoli, which favors the formation of oxyhemoglobin. Okay, if the alveoli having low partial pressure of carbon dioxide and which favors the formation of oxyhemoglobin, which favors the formation of oxyhemoglobin, because partial pressure of oxygen is more in the alveoli where compared to the carbon dioxide, right? So that means this is also correct statement, but they are given that a wrong statement. This is the option 3 is correct. Okay, yes. Next one, question number 20. Ray fluorates and disc fluorates are the characteristic features of the family. This is the advanced family in the angiospermic plants. Okay, the advanced family in the angiospermic plants, that is the Asteraceae family, which is consisting of ray fluorates and disc fluorates, right? So that Asteraceae, that ovary of the Asteraceae is present with the ovary of the Asteraceae, it is inferior in nature. We know that based on the position of ovary, we classify the flowers, that is a hypogynous flower and epigynous flower and perigynous flower. Okay, and Asteraceae family which are exhibiting the ray fluorates, right? But the Asteraceae family members having a inferior ovary, they are having a inferior ovary, right? Okay, so that means inferior ovary, option is correct. Okay, next one. What is inferior ovary? We know that ovary which is totally embedded and remaining the remaining holes are arising above the ovary, that is called as what? The inferior ovary. Okay, consider this is the sunflower. Sunflower, it is consisting of ray fluorates and disc fluorates. Okay, and the ovary, it is totally embedded. This is the ovary. Okay, ovary which is totally embedded within the thalamus. Okay, and remaining holes like calyx, so this is considered the calyx, and this is the corolla, okay, and as well as androecium, so this is the androecium. Okay, so that calyx, corolla and androecium, they are the other parts of the ovary or gynoecium. They are arises above the region of the ovary, the totally ovary which is embedded within the thalamus. Okay, that is called as what? Inferior ovary. Okay, inferior ovary, it is a characteristic feature of the Asteraceae family. Asteraceae family shows ray fluorates and disc fluorates. Okay, next one. The specific palindromic sequence which is recognized by the EcoR1 means it is one of the restriction enzyme. EcoR1, it is the restriction enzyme, and EcoR1 restriction enzyme which cuts the DNA at the specific position, that is called as EcoR1 site, and they cut the DNA which is consisting of same nucleotide basis in the both of the strands of the DNA from 5' to 3' direction and 3' to 5' direction, that is called as what? Palindromic sequence, right? So that palindromic sequence EcoR1, it is a restriction enzyme which is recognized by the which is recognizing the palindromic sequence. We know that that is the restriction site of the EcoR1, that is called as GAA-TTC and GAA-TTC. 5' to 3' direction, the sequence of the nucleotides are GAA-TTC. Okay, that is called as what? Palindromic sequence. The restriction site of the EcoR1, that is the GAA-TTC from 5' to 3' direction. Yes, option 1 is correct. Next one. Question number 22. Identify the wrong statement with regard to the restriction enzymes. Wrong statements with reference to the restriction enzyme. Okay, so each restriction enzyme function by inspecting the length of the DNA sequence. Okay, if the any restriction, consider EcoR1, it is the restriction enzyme. Okay, and EcoR1 which cuts the specific position of the DNA, that is the GAA-TTC. Okay, which inspecting entire length of the DNA actually. So consider this is the DNA. Okay, that EcoR1 enzyme, this is the EcoR1 enzyme. So this is the EcoR1 enzyme. Okay, that EcoR1 enzyme, so this is the GAATTC, right? So this is the GAATTC, right? So this is the restriction site of EcoR1, GAATTC, we know that. Okay, so EcoR1, they do not cut the DNA at any point, that means any point of the DNA. Actually that restriction site, restriction enzyme like EcoR1, which inspecting the entire length of the DNA, which investigate the entire length of the DNA. Okay, so when it inspecting the, that means when it identify its that is the palindromic site, then only it cuts the DNA within the specific position. It cuts the DNA at the specific position of the DNA, not it cuts the DNA at any point, right? So each restriction enzyme function, so they are inspecting the entire length of the DNA. Yes, correct. They cut the strand of the DNA at palindromic site. We know that palindromic site means the same nucleotide sequences which are present in both the strands of the DNA from 5 prime to 3 prime direction and 3 prime to 5 prime direction. That is called as what? The palindromic site. Restriction sites are also called as palindromic sites. All restriction sites are palindromic sites, right? Because the restriction enzyme which cuts the DNA at the restriction site, that restriction site is palindromic site. Okay, yes, they are useful in genetic engineering. Yes, okay. So the first that is the recombinant DNA technology, which is developed by the scientists called as Stanley Cohen and Herbert Boyer in the year of 1972 by using the Salmonella typhimurium and E. coli bacteria. The restriction endonucleases enzymes are used, right? So that restriction enzymes are useful in the genetic engineering. Okay, because restriction enzymes are called as molecular scissors. Molecular stitchers are a DNA ligases enzyme, but molecular scissors, they cut the DNA at the specific position, right? So that is called as a molecular scissors. Molecular scissors. Okay, yes, they are useful in the genetic engineering. Sticky ends can be joined by the using DNA ligases enzyme. We know that DNA ligases, it is called as what? Ligases. DNA ligases enzyme, it is called as molecular stitchers. Why they are called as molecular stitchers? Because they joins the sticky end and the blunt end of the DNA which is created by the molecular scissors. Okay, but it is not related to the restriction enzymes. It is wrong about the restriction enzyme. Restriction enzyme, they are the scissors, they are the cutters. They only cut the specific position of the DNA and they are inspecting the entire length of the DNA and which cuts the DNA at the polypalindromic site. Okay, but DNA ligases which is responsible for the joining the sticky ends of the DNA molecules or blunt end of the DNA molecules, right? Okay, but DNA ligases, it is a molecular stitcher, but remaining statements, they are belongs to the molecular scissors, right? So that means this is the wrong about the restriction enzyme. This is the restriction, this is not a restriction enzyme, this is the ligases enzyme, DNA ligases enzyme, molecular stitcher enzyme, right? Yes. So let us discuss about the next one. Which of the following is put out into the anaerobic sludge digester? Anaerobic sludge digester containing the anaerobic bacteria which produces the methane gas for further sewage treatment. Okay, so we know that activated sludge, okay, flocks are allowed to sediment. Okay, so allowed to sediment, that is called as what? Activated sludge. That activated sludge, it is pumped into the anaerobic sludge digester where the anaerobic bacteria are present. That anaerobic bacteria which are digesting the flocks, that is aerobic bacteria, and produces the byproduct, that is the methane gases. Okay, so anaerobic sludge digester, so which is the one of the activated sludge which is pumped into the anaerobic sludge digester. Activated sludge means we know that flocks are allowed to the sedimentation. That phenomenon, it is called as activated sludge. Okay, so we know that flocks means the aerobic bacteria and fungal filaments, they are associated to form the mesh like structure, that is called as what? Flocks, right? So they are the aerobic bacteria and fungal filaments. So they are the fungal filaments. They are the fungal filaments to form the flocks during the secondary sewage treatment, that is called as flocks, right? So that flocks, that means that flocks which consume, which digesting the organic matter present in the sewage material by consuming the oxygen, that is called as BOD, we know that, right? So that flocks, they are allowed to the sedimentation. That phenomenon, it is called as what? Activated sludge. Activated sludge. That activated sludge, it is passed into the anaerobic sludge digester, ASD. That is called as anaerobic sludge digester, which containing the anaerobic bacteria. So that anaerobic bacteria which are digesting the flocks or aerobic bacteria to produce the methane gases, and it is used for a cooking purpose, right? So this is called as what? Activated sludge is correct. The next one, question number 24. Select the correct events that occur during the inspiration. During inspiration, what happens? The diaphragm is contracts. The diaphragm, dome shaped diaphragm is contracts. Okay, so that is the diaphragm contraction. Contraction of diaphragm is takes place. Next one, contraction of external intercostal muscle is takes place. Contraction of external intercostal muscles is takes place, and which that means which increases thoracic volume. When the contraction of external intercostal muscles and dome shaped diaphragm is contracts, what happens? That thoracic volume is increases, then it increases the pulmonary volume. But they are given that pulmonary volume decreases. No, during inspiration pulmonary volume increases, not decreases. This is not correct regarding to the inspiration. Okay, so if the pulmonary volume increases, what happens? Intrapulmonary pressure, the pressure present inside the lungs, okay, intrapulmonary pressure is decreases, so that atmospheric air it is easily enter into the lungs, right? Based on the pressure gradient, atmospheric pressure, high atmospheric pressure to the low intrapulmonary pressure, that is called as inspiration. So intrapulmonary pressure is increases. No, it is occurs during the expiration. If the pulmonary volume increases, okay, the intrapulmonary pressure is decreases, but they are given that intrapulmonary pressure increases. No, intrapulmonary pressure decreases, then only atmospheric air it is inhaled into the lungs, right? So that means which statements are correct regarding to the inspiration? Option A and B, that means option 1 is correct. Okay, yes. Next one, question number 25. If the head of cockroach is removed, if the head of cockroach, okay, you know that cockroach, if the head of the cockroach is removed, it may live for few days. Okay, that means it may live for 1 week also, right? So why? Because the cockroach, the head of the cockroach holds only small portion of nervous system, okay, and remaining nervous systems are present in the ventral side of the body. Ventral side of the body, it is consisting of the large portion of the nervous system. If you cut the head of the cockroach, okay, it may live for the several days, okay, that is 6 to 7 days, okay, because the head consisting of very small portion of the head which consisting of the very small portion of the nervous system, and remaining all the nervous system, that is the double solid ventral nervous systems are present in the that is abdomen, okay, thorax and abdomen side. Okay, is it clear or not? So this is called as what? This is the third option is correct. Okay, cockroach have the nervous system, no doubt, ventral double solid nervous system is present, but the major portion of the nervous system is present in the abdomen side. Okay, next one, question number 26. Which of the following statements are true for the phylum Chordata? Right? Yes. In Urochordata, notochord is extended from head to tail and it is represented throughout their life. Remember one thing, which one? That is the phylum, phylum chordata is classified into again 3 subphylum, that is called as a subphylum Urochordata, subphylum Cephalochordata, Urochordata, subphylum Cephalochordata, okay, and subphylum Vertebrata. Subphylum Vertebrata. Single phylum Chordata is classified into 3 subphylum, that is the subphylum Urochordata, subphylum Cephalochordata, and subphylum Vertebrata, right? Yes. So in examples for the subphylum Urochordata, notochord is only present in tail region. Okay, notochord is only present in the not in tail region, tail of the larva. Okay, that is the in Urochordata, the notochord is only present in the larva tail, right? So that is called as what? Urochordata. But during this is called as retrogressive metamorphosis, means some of the advanced character in the larva, they are lost in the adults, that is called as retrogressive metamorphosis, right? So that is tail of the larva. Okay, the only notochord is present in the larval tail, that is called as Urochordata. Next one, Cephalochordata. The in Cephalochordata and Urochordata, it is also called as Tunicata. It is also called as Tunicata. Next one, Cephalochordata. In Cephalochordata, the notochord is present and it is present from head to tail region, and it is extension from head to tail region throughout their life, that is called as Cephalochordata. And remember one thing, both Urochordata and Cephalochordata together, it is called as Protochordata or Protochordates. And Protochordates, that means Urochordata and Cephalochordata, they are exclusively present in marine forms. Okay, next one, in Vertebrata, we know that notochord is present in the embryonic, they are developing in the embryonic stages, right? And single hollow dorsal vertebrate, that is the notochord is developing in the embryonic stages, right? Yes. So let us read the statements one by one. In Urochordata, notochord is extended from head to tail region and it is present throughout the life. No, in Cephalochordata, notochord it is present from head to tail region throughout the life, but they are given that Urochordata containing the notochord in the larval tail only. Okay, so this is not correct. Next one, in Vertebrata, notochord is present during the embryonic period only. Yes, in Vertebrata, notochord is present in the embryonic period. Next one, central nervous system is the dorsal and hollow. Central nervous system includes the brain and spinal cord, that is present in the dorsal, and it is hollow. Yes, central nervous system in case of vertebrates. Next one, chordata is classified into dividing into 3 subphyla, that is the Hemichordata, the Hemichordata, it is the 10th phylum, it is a non-chordate, it is the not an chordate. Okay, so chordata is dividing into 3 subphyla like Urochordata, Cephalochordata and Vertebrata, not Hemichordata, Tunicata and Cephalochordata. Okay, this is not true. So that means B and C means option 4 is correct. Okay, next one, question number 27. Match the following organism with use in biotechnology. Yes, so first one, Bacillus thuringiensis. Bacillus thuringiensis, it is one of the bacteria which produces the insecticidal protein. The name of the insecticidal protein, it is called as what? Cryproteins. Okay, Cry1AC, Cry2AB, Cry1AB. Okay, so they are produces the which is consisting of genes called as crygenes. Crygenes which is responsible for synthesis of cryproteins. Cryprotein, it is one of the insecticidal protein which is produced by the Bacillus thuringiensis bacteria. Thermus aquaticus bacteria, which is present in the hot springs, and by using that bacteria, one of the thermostable enzyme is produced, which is used in the polymerase chain reaction. The name of the enzyme, it is called as Taq DNA polymerase enzyme. Which enzyme, mama? Taq DNA polymerase enzyme. It is the thermostable enzyme. thermostable DNA polymerase enzyme which is extracted from the Thermus aquaticus bacteria. Next one, Agrobacterium tufacean bacteria. Okay, Agrobacterium tufacean bacteria, it is a bacteria which causes the crown gall disease in the dicot plants, and it is consisting of TI plasmid, tumor inducing plasmid consisting of tDNA, right? That Agrobacterium tufacean which is used as a cloning vector, okay, to deliver the alien piece of the DNA into the plant cell. Okay, if you are going to deliver the alien piece of the DNA into plant cell, then you can use the Agrobacterium tufacean vector as a cloning, Agrobacterium tufacean bacteria as a cloning vector. Okay, next one, Salmonella typhimurium. Salmonella typhimurium. So the construction of first recombinant DNA molecule by the Stanley Cohen and Herbert Boyer in the year of 1972, right? So the first recombinant DNA is developed by the scientist called as Stanley Cohen and Herbert Boyer in the year of 1972 by using the Salmonella typhimurium and E. coli bacteria, because both are belongs to the, that means both are more or more similar, right? So that means which option is correct, ma? So that is A4 B3, A4 B3 C1, okay, as well as D2. Option 2 is correct. Okay, next one. Question number 28. Match the following concerning essential elements that they and their function in plants. Okay, yes. Iron and magnesium, which is responsible for synthesis of chlorophyll pigment. Okay, we know that a central core element present in chlorophyll, consider this is the chlorophyll pigment. Okay, this is the chlorophyll pigment. Actually, this is not a chlorophyll pigment. So consider this is the chlorophyll pigment. Okay, so that chlorophyll pigment, the central core element present in the chlorophyll pigment, that is the magnesium. Along with that magnesium, the iron it is also present in the chlorophyll pigment. Okay, that means for synthesis of chlorophyll pigment, iron and magnesium, they are raw materials for synthesis of chlorophyll pigment. Okay, that is required for chlorophyll biosynthesis. Okay, next one, zinc. So we know that one of the oxine that is called as indole acetic acid. Indole acetic acid, which is made up of the one of the element that is called as zinc. Indole acetic acid, which is made up of the one of the element that is called as zinc. Okay, for synthesis of indole acetic acid, zinc it is used as a raw element, raw essential element. Okay, next one, boron. Okay, B stands for boron, and very most important element which is responsible for pollen germination, that is the sucrose and boron, right? So we know that Brew-Beaker media which induces the pollen tube growth, right? So that is pollen germination. Okay, so that for pollen germination, one of the element is essentially required, the element that is called as boron, which is responsible for pollen germination. Okay, next one, manganese. Okay, manganese which is involved in the photolysis of water. Photolysis of water means breakdown of water in the presence of sunlight. Okay, in the presence of sunlight, that is called as during photosynthesis, that is called as a photolysis of water. And photolysis of water, it is takes place by with the help of the element that is called as manganese. With the help of the element that is called as manganese. We know that photolysis of water, that is called as a water splitting complex. Water splitting complex, it is associated to the photosystem 2 and it is not associated to the photosystem 1. Okay, photosystem 2, it involves a water splitting complex, that is photolysis of water, one of the element which is responsible for breakdown of water. Okay, and which is responsible for electron transport, that is called as manganese, that is involved in the photolysis of water. That means which option is correct, Amma? So that is A3, okay, as well as B4, C2 and D1, right? So option 3 is correct. Okay, yes. So that is the today's session, and remaining question that will be discussed that is discussed in the next session. Thank you students.